Hypnotic World Epicenter, Mike Mandel, Hypnosis.com.
Power language. Why? Oh man, if try is a good example of power language, why is off the scale. This is a really, really important word to know. Know the power of it, especially the negative power of this word. Why tends to keep people stuck in the past. So if we presume that you have in your life your present state, which is where you are right now, PS present state, and you have a target state, which is where you want to be in life. This could be if you're a therapist, could be a client you're dealing with, they have a present state, might be exhausted and anxious. You could be a hypnotherapist working with someone whose present state is a phobia and their target state is phobia-free and happy, whatever it is. Whether it's life or therapy, they're really good models for each other. In life, it could be you live in a certain house, you want to live in a different neighborhood with a different job, so your present state is not the target state that you want. You've got to get there, and in all cases, whether it's life or therapy, the way you get there is the addition of resources, which could be financial in the case of moving to a new neighborhood, or changing internal states, drawing from unconscious resources in order to do therapy or hypnotherapy. So this will be useful if you're a therapist, or even just if you're a human being who wants more out of life. See, your brain runs on something called the RAS, the Reticular Activating System. The RAS is basically what you notice, and it is cued by questions to a large degree. What you notice will change the reticule, the focus of your reticular activating system, so that only certain bits of information will move into your conscious awareness. Remember, according to George Miller, you're running about 7 bits of information per second, plus or minus 2. What gets into those 7 chunks depends largely on unconscious processes and your perceptual filters and so on. The reticule, the reticular activating system, gets tuned though. Years ago, I bought my first 35mm camera before I determined I had no talent in that area whatsoever and gave it to my wife, who's great with it. Bought a Minolta. Came out of the store, Henry's camera store in Toronto, with this SLR, and what do I see? A bus goes by with a big Canon ad on the side. And then over here it's Nikon and Hasselblad and Leica and Ricoh and Pentax, and everywhere I looked there were camera ads. I'm thinking, who put all these here? Well, they were there all the time. But the RAS, the reticular activating system of my brain, my mind had become tuned by me buying a camera, and I started to notice in conscious awareness things connected to 35mm cameras. So when you ask questions, even why questions, your brain will utilize the question to tune your RAS. That's why if you say, why am I so stupid all the time? It's not an empowering question, because what it does is focus on the present state. It's a stuck state, the state we call stupid. It doesn't move you forward. If you say, why am I so stupid all the time? Your brain goes, well, let me think. Your friends are all stupid. You hang around with a bunch of idiots. You go, that's true. And your parents were stupid, so there's a genetic basis for this. And you go, that's right. And you don't eat right. You don't get glucose and oxygen in your brain. You don't exercise. You'll go, I am stupid. See, a why question, why am I stupid, amplifies the present state. You need to move to the target state. And the way you do this is by asking a better question. Why questions keep you stuck. They keep your client stuck, your subject stuck. So you want to ensure no stuck states. Move people with how questions. How questions are process questions that move you to the target state. See, your brain works by identifying a target state and moving towards it. Until you identify it, it's just firing in the dark. You're aiming at every target at once. So instead of why am I so stupid, you ask, how can I get smarter? Or ask the question I've been asking every day for years. How can I get smarter today than yesterday and have an absolute blast doing it? And my brain generates opportunities, and I start to notice things that will feed my own intellect and my own emotional needs and so on, and filling in all the gaps because my brain is looking for what it wants instead of what it doesn't want. Watch out for that. Focus on the target state with yourself, with your subjects. Someone comes in for hypnosis. Maybe you're a hypnotherapist. You say, what is it you want? You're trying to identify the target state. And they say, well, I don't want to be unhappy. Well, they're telling you what they don't want. What you don't want is an infinite list. You don't want to live on Jupiter. You don't want to farm purple cabbages for the rest of your life. There's an infinite number of things you don't want to do. You do not want to get a rat and stuff it in your clothing and have it rip you apart. Ask people what they want, not what they don't want. Identify the target state. And then how can we get you there? The magic question will get you more than anything in life. The magic question, working with a subject, a client, whatever, is what do you want? Identify the target state, not what you don't want. Client comes into my office and says, I said, what do you want? She said, I don't want to be scared of cats anymore. I said, okay, I can hypnotize you and make you scared of carpets instead. How's that? Every time you go in a room and see a carpet, you'll have a panic attack. Well, I don't want that either. Okay, what if we make it so every time you open a cupboard, you quack like a duck? Well, I don't want that either. Remember, the list you don't want is infinite. Find out what you do want, and you'll get more out of your own life by tuning your unconscious mind. It is hypnotic. It's working beneath the surface. What do you want? And then the next question is, what do I have to do now in order to get it? What's the next step? Let your brain work on that. You'll get great results.
The Hypnotic World Epicenter, MikeMandelHypnosis.com.